starting strong with a fundamental, versatile first move. Pawns meet in the middle for a symmetrical battle. Knight f3 develops the knight toward the center, attacks the e5 pawn, and prepares to castle. Two knights enter the game for an even matchup. The Ruy Lopez develops the bishop to immediately attack the knight on c6. a6 forces the bishop to decide exchange or retreat. Bishop a4 safely retreats the bishop while keeping pressure on the knight. Knight f6 attacks the undefended e4 pawn and develops the knight at the same time. Castling gets the king out of the center and prepares to develop the rook to e1. Bishop e7 develops the dark squared bishop and prepares to castle. Rook e1 centralizes the rook and protects the e4 pawn. b5 gains space on the queen side and forces the bishop to the b3 square. Bishop b3 is forced, but the bishop is well placed because it attacks the f7 square. d6 defends the e5 pawn and allows the light-squared bishop to develop. c3 prepares the d2-d4 pawn break and clears the c2 square for the light-squared bishop. Castling gets the king out of the center and activates the rook. h3 prevents black from developing the light-squared bishop to g4, which would pin the knight and make it hard for white to play d4. Bishop b7 puts the bishop on the long diagonal in a move called a fianchetto. d4 gains space in the center, allows the dark-squared bishop to develop and attacks the e5 pawn. Rook e8 puts the rook on a central file and vacates the f8 square for the bishop, developing the knight and increasing influence in the center. This is a book move, meaning it follows established opening theory. Solid. Continuing with standard opening theory, this creates luft for the king, providing it an escape square. Textbook play so far. After all captures, this is an equal trade. Recapturing with the pawn here keeps the center healthy and stable. This is a book move, meaning it follows established opening theory. This is the only good move. This strikes at the center with a pawn, trying to gain space. This creates a pawn chain, linked pawns that form a strong structure. Solid. Continuing with standard opening theory, moving the rook gives white more flexibility in the middle game. Textbook play so far. This threatens to capture a pawn and win material after the follow-up trades. This develops a piece while also winning a tempo on a knight. This threatens to capture a pawn and win material after the follow-up trades. This allows the knight to control more squares. Taking that pawn will win material after all is said and done. A straightforward recapture. A clear recapture. Black develops further. A straightforward recapture. This defends a pawn that was under attack and had no defenders. This is the strongest option. Very precise. That's fine. This is the only move that works. This removes the attacking pawn. This threatens to capture a pawn and win material after the follow-up trades. This misses a better way to take an outpost with a knight. This permits the opponent to play a stunning move, ignoring the threat on the knight. This leads to losing a knight. The best option was to play a stunning move, ignoring the threat on the knight. The best option was to move a queen to safety. This is the only good move. One of the best moves. That's not a mistake, but it's not the best move either. This threatens to win material through a fork. This stops the opponent from being able to win material through a fork. This is a fair move. After all captures, this is an equal trade. A clear recapture. This is the only move that works. This threatens to sacrifice a knight for a nice tactic. This is not the right idea. Right on target. The better move was to recapture a piece. This threatens to win a knight through an eventual fork. The best option was to push a passed pawn. This threatens to checkmate the king. This stops the opponent from being able to checkmate the king. This wins material, taking advantage of the pinned defender. This threatens to checkmate the king. This prevents the opponent from being able to checkmate the king. This is the only move that works. This is the way to win a queen. This was the only move. This passed pawn is a strong asset for white. This steps away from the checking pawn. That X-ray attack will win white a queen. This evades the check from the rook. This captures a free queen. A clear recapture. This threatens to force eventual checkmate. This stops the opponent from being able to force eventual checkmate. That pawn capture will win material after all trades are complete.